Galio. Oh, Gragas. Gragas is actually pretty decent here for Yuchan. Especially with the Zoe. Gragas can just alley-oop a sleepy trouble bubbled enemy with that explosive cast. So something that's a good wombo combo to think about. Shen will be banned out here for Weibo Gaming now. Pretty decent jungle ban. They're looking to pinch Valdez here because Valdez has many options to choose from. Shyvana gonna get banned out. He does not want a repeat performance from Fan. And the Lee Sin as well. They don't want a repeat performance from Valdez because he still did a lot of work on that Lee Sin even though Buriram lost that last game.
Yeah, Shen, Lee Sin, Shyvana. What will be the next ban here on BRU side? Potentially another okay. Kha'Zix is just a great ban coming in by BRU because there's already a lot of burst and single target lockdowns here on the side of Weibo Gaming. Just one setup can be so great for a Kha'Zix to just finish up on a kill. Now, without any bans on ADCs, looks like it's not still gonna be picked up here by Weibo Gaming. Just vanilla for Faye, or Fan rather, in the jungle, looking to scale up and have massive damage later on.
Yeah, and in the mid lane to combat that Zoe pick, we have Golden Feet picking up that Ezreal probably because I think it's definitely going to be VVV on the Ziggs. Now that's interesting. An Irelia against the Camille in the top lane, but then Zoe finishes out Duan Yu's pick here for Weibo Gaming.
Now it's going to be the Irelia in the jungle possibly because that's what we normally see even last time. So yeah,
you're right, that is a Jax in the top lane. Fipper though I think is going to have a little bit rougher of a time on the other side of this matchup than he did while he was on that Camille, so it's something that he has to be very prepared for, I feel. But we'll see when we get into the game. Now the Irelia versus Nila matchup is a little uncommon, but I think it should be going the way of that Nila at least early on. But then that Irelia has some very specific gank patterns, I think.
Team fighting would be more of an all-in on BRU United Esports side. We saw Nila on its debut already during day number 21 with Trace Esports Weibo picking it up against Long during their game number 2 as well. And it was actually an incredible win, but not the easiest one by Trace Esports. So still going to be very challenging here for BRU United Esports, especially with their Wombo combo composition. Still, it's going to be contested by Weibo Gaming with lots of burst and also DPS coming in from the Zeri later on.
Lots and lots of DPS to be expected from that Zeri. We have seen so much potential from Zeri. Oh, early stun onto Zihan. Are they gonna go for it? They forced the flash already at the start of the laning phase. That's very interesting that Zihan decided to go that deep to get some information in the jungle, but you know, it paid off for BRU. 33 damage per 33% of the damage in the team was done by FaZe Zoe in the last game, so that's a pretty decent stat there.
With the flash already used by Zihan, maybe Valdez can actually visit in the top lane since they do both of them have stuns with the counter strike and as well as the stun on the Irelia. And without that much mobility on the Camille, he might be in a vulnerable position. That's why we do see Fan actually lingering there a little bit in the top side, just clearing out the entire red side camp of his before actually proceeding towards his blue side camps. But since BRU's jungler already started at blue side as well, might just be not the case with a gank in the top lane.
Yeah, probably won't happen. The pathing isn't there for a top lane gank. You know, the top lane is looking ready to scrap. Zihan with the upper hand here, exactly as I thought. I thought Pipper would have a little bit more trouble here just because he's a bit more aggressive. Speaking of aggression, he's already there. Trying to get that duel on with Zihan. There's the pass it into the tactical sweep as Pipper once again takes more damage than he deals out.
Pipper's in a lot of trouble for sure, but fortunately the junglers aren't really proceeding towards there. The pathway is on bot side. Zihan though is crashing a wave. That is a massive loss towards Tipper, to be honest.
Not only a massive loss, but this is going to be a pretty decently sized lead for Zihan early on, as he's going to get a tower plate as well, and the decision to, you know, Tipper's walking back towards the lane, so he shouldn't miss all too much of that next wave, but missing that cannon and then just giving Zihan, it gives Zihan so much leeway in the top lane to just go in again and again and again. As he comes back, he goes back, and then he comes back with much more combat efficiency on his side.
Was able to stop the recall by Zihan for a little bit, but missed a lot more of those waves. That's why we see a transition in terms of gold, just a 300 gold lead a little bit there on the side of Weibo Gaming.
Yeah, so tiny gold lead as the bottom lane scraps, but there's the first gank of the game here. Fan and Zihan, they will be using the Hextech ultimatum. Faber gets a stun off, and he's able to get away! What a god there at avoiding ganks. But, oh, True Shot Barrage almost taking Jichan out. Great capitalization here by BRU United on that bot lane, seeing that jungler was top, knowing that no health was going to be coming here. They forced Weibo Gaming's bot lane away from the turret.
Valdez as well unsuccessful with the gank there in the bottom lane, who was trying to close in the distance, but unfortunately didn't have any vision to where Jigan is actually going. So BRU, they are at least able to secure a couple of plays in the bottom lane to answer back the ones in the top lane. 1,144 HP left on this tower. Pretty low already, considering that there's no objective spawning just yet.
It's pretty unfortunate that these towers are looking that low, but you know, it kind of was a trade-off. Top lane pressure for bot lane pressure. Pretty decently even. I just noticed it was Holden Feet who is on that Ziggs in the mid lane. I really thought it was going to be VVV on that. I don't know how my brain just processed it now, but yeah, the Ezreal in the bot lane instead. Kind of more standard, like classic League of Legends than Wild Rift meta. But if it works, it works, because BRU are working really hard here on trying to dominate that bot lane.
I mean, it's usually the case that we do see, especially on APAC squads. We have seen it a lot of times already during the past few matchups with Ziggs involved, except for those that the enemy team responds with an APC as well. Oftentimes that goes towards the Dragon lane instead, and we go back to Season 1, at least the first half of Season 1. But in this case, Golden Feet, yeah, he is picking up the Ziggs. And this can provide them massive lane pressure as well later on in easy clear time with just one Mega Inferno Bomb.
Yeah, that is something that BRU will need to run down the clock if ever Weibo Gaming is, if ever they get a big lead and then they start trying to aggress into the base, trying to push, trying to siege. That Mega Inferno Bomb is going to be a huge tool to just clear waves and give BRU some time to fight back and get back into the game. But right now, they looks like they want to fight over this Rift Herald as the first knockup goes onto Fan, and Fan is already gone. The jungler not able to contest is going to be huge here for this Rift Herald, but Duan Yu is able to get out, not quite, as BBV flashes after him, and that is BRU with 2 kills and a priority on that Rift Herald.
This time they can use it into the mid lane. They have the Ziggs as well to just use the satchel charge later on and enable a tower takedown already on their side. We look into this replay and how it actually happened. It was a bit of a mispositioning on the side of Weibo Gaming, and they have to always respect the engage of an Ornn and what the Jess just top knot on it, taking the Nilla entirely. The first contact happening. Duan Yu tried to capitalize, tried to get an answer back towards what the Jess, but overextended instead and got taken down by BBB.
Yeah, but now Zihan versus Valdez in this Dragon lane, because Dragon is going to be the next objective that they may be fighting over, because usually we do see, you know, objective trades, but instead of trading here, they're just gonna go for the fight on both objectives, I feel. Pipper going to go onto Zihan already, no stun there, dodge it with a Hextech ultimatum, but will it be enough for him to get into turret range and get out safe? No, it won't, because that's another kill for BRU. Jichan looking to delay what the Jess here, but that just gave them so much priority in the bot lane, with Shelly taking down that tower as well.
Interestingly so, WRL Esports actually uses the RH in the bottom lane, maybe to shove it up a little more. possibly towards the second tower. Bald's already starting this dragon as well, as Weibo Gaming did not actually take it.
Yeah, it's a strange decision that they didn't actually take it, but 7 HP on that tower while this fight is going on. What the Jess with the knockup. The tower is no more. Duanu's the one that gets it, but there's a Mega Inferno Bomb. It is Mega. It does Mega damage, and BRU are going to be on the warpath now, on the front foot in the driver's seat for this game. Oh, Shushop Barrage just barely doesn't kill Duanu.
Great damage though. Great scaling coming in from BRU's side, of course. BBB slowly getting his items some, especially with the gold that is being injected towards the members of WRL United Esports. Now they transition towards top lane. We'll take this uncontested by Weibo Gaming. And it's now starting to be a questionable play coming from their side.
Yeah, a little questionable, but this is still... It's not unwinnable for Weibo. They are just in a little bit of a pickle right now. They honestly need to scale at this point, but with BRU taking the lead in the early game and in the mid game, this scaling is going to be a little bit of an issue for Weibo Gaming. How do they get back into this one? I mean, the goal lead isn't all too bad right now, 3,000, but it's still decently sized enough that Weibo doesn't want to risk getting into engagements that, you know, they're not 100% sure they can win.
This time, it's all the more going to be an increasing amount of pressure that BRU is giving towards them, especially as the next objective spawn up. We're still just at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. That's the downside of picking up the Nila. It does take so much time for it to scale up. Jikan still gonna be able to walk away, of course, but not without some damage being chipped away on his HP.
Yeah, and there is a huge Mega Inferno into Call the Forest God just to take that tower, just to keep Weibo Gaming away. The macro from BRU is what's really looking good right now, as they are just looking at all of these lanes and saying, alright, we can push this, we can push that. If they're going to try to defend this one, we have ways to push them off and then take that tower for free. So big props to them for, you know, playing this kind of game instead of looking for fights, even though they are super red.
4,000.
Well,
Bloodthirster picked up already by the Nila and the ADC of Weibo Gaming. Still not enough to actually put up a good fight against BRU United Esports, and this time BRU can still continue to pressure them. A bit of a miss on What the Jess.
Oh, because What the Jess is incredibly tanky. He has been slept, but is able to flash out. Good attempts there from Weibo. Mega Inferno Bomb to keep them honest, to keep them away from backing. But What the Jess, a little tiny bit too tanky for them to actually take down at this point. I think Weibo really just want to wait for that later game Howl Spike, because they are sorely lacking in fighting power at the moment.
Call of the Forge God used, but there wasn't any fight that was supposed to happen there. So that is a key ultimate no longer available for What the Jess. Maybe Weibo Gaming can set things up here in the bottom side river. We see Thipper and Zihan just answering back each other's pushes on the waves. Not really clashing against each other just yet. Zihan will be happy with exchange since he is just looking to scale up and get his items done. Has to respect towards BRU a lot as well by picking the Bramble Vest to reduce some of the healing of the Irelia and the Jax as well. Since What the Jess is getting caught a little bit here, he might need to be a lot more careful, especially for later. Because Jikan, a while ago, landed a great cast onto him to isolate him. If he dies before the team fight happens, there's no front line anymore for BRU.
Yeah, he has to be very careful not to immediately get picked off, because not only is he the only front line, he's also a big source of that crowd control that BRU sorely need to stop Weibo Gaming. Speaking of crowd control, Yujian getting knocked off, and then BRU, the rest of them, just very quick to respond to that. As you can see, What the Jess is really making this rift his own. He's just waltzing into jungle, waltzing into lane, looking for anybody at all to try to knock off Call the Forge God. The dragon has spawned now, so that's why they're fighting in the mid lane. A little bit late to the party is Thipper, but he should be there in time to get into this Drake, as BRU are the ones to start. Weibo very hesitant to try to get in on that dragon pit.
We even see Fan just going towards the top side river, trying to invade some camps here of Valdez. Pretty much questionable now, soul point for BRU, and just incredibly scaling even more. And the more that Weibo Gaming actually hesitates, the more that they're gonna be put in a tougher spot. Baron has spawned up, pretty timely for BRU. Fan still isn't ready for any fights, but Weibo Gaming still establishing vision here in the upside river. Might be looking for picks. Baldo spotting him out. Just casting the flawless duet right there. Will be fine here for Jiken.
He should be alright. Get out of there quick. As this Baron may be the next point of contention, though I don't think BRU want to take it this early on. Color me surprised. Egg on my face as Valdez did try to start it up right after I said that they wouldn't try to start it up. Thanks, guy. But yeah, he just wants to prove me wrong. Yeah, BRU playing a little bit slower here.
I mean, they can't just be patient. Wait for the best possible time to strike. Stepper is already starting to be out of control for Zihan here. When it's a Jax, sooner or later you will be really struggling to go up against him. He's one of the best dual champions here, or dueling champions in the game. Right now, BRU looking to engage.
Yeah, they're looking, but they're not finding. Because Weibo Gaming are incredibly careful not to play too forward. Very, very careful not to be anywhere where an Ornhorn could be their demise. So they don't like clumping up inside the jungle. They don't like clumping up in these tight corridors. But yeah, it is so difficult now for Weibo Gaming to get in on BRU. But at the same time, BRU are having difficulties trying to force these engages onto Weibo Gaming.
Let's see what's going to be the response here for Weibo Gaming. Jiken has been really investing so much time to establish vision here, at least track down some of the members here of Wild Rift Esports. Fan needs to be a lot more careful, especially with his position, because one Call of the Force forced him to use some of his abilities that wouldn't minimize his kiting ability later on.
Yeah, that's something that it's a distinct possibility. You know, whenever you're looking down the barrel of an Ornn, he can just Ornhorn at pretty much at any time. If he sees anybody within one screen of him, just press that button and then try to at least go for, like, try to drive them out at least of the area that you're in. So gotta conserve those abilities to try to make it out of that or out of the knockup. Now, this game is pretty much slowed to a crawl. We've had the 4 kills from BRU and nothing afterwards. There's the Ornhorn though, called the Forge God onto 3 people. Jichan in the midst of them all, but Valdez is the first one to fall as Thipper goes in and gets the leap strike onto Zoe to finish him off. Zihan arriving late to the game, but he's got that tactical sweep. He's got the Hex Ultimatum onto the Ezreal, locking him down for Fan, and as well to Zihan that takes him out. But Thipper is going to be running away to the Honey Fruit, gets that little bit of help for himself, but that's 2 kills for Weibo Gaming.
Weibo Gaming slowly coming back. BRU again needs to be more and more careful. Look into this replay and how it actually happened. Yes, there is a great engage coming in with the Call of the Forge God, but you have to always constantly respect Weibo Gaming's ability to go with a counterplay. If it's not done, Flipper getting a kill as we look into still the highlight from a while ago. Weibo Gaming's re-engage should always be respected. Despite the amount of crowd control that you can actually have, the burst potential of Weibo Gaming is just supreme.
Unfortunately, BRU got a little bit greedy there. Valdez flashed in from a not so great position, but it did set up what to just for that triple Ornhorn, triple Call of Forge God. But unfortunately, Weibo was just a little bit too ready for that. They were cautious, they were ready. It just was that the Fan was not ready for the 1v1 against the Jax. There's another Ornhorn, Zihan gets out. Duan Yu and Yichan though in a tiny bit of trouble is what the Jess is looking for more. He's just the widest Ornn possible right now. And they need Fan to get into this dragon quickly.
BRU still contesting. Zihan.
Oh, they have found Zihan on the backside. He has to hook shot away into the Dragon Pit. Oh, there's a Mega Inferno bomb, but it was the two-shot barrage to snipe him out. Faye has been stunned up, and Faye will be taken out by what the Jets do on you. And Fan trying to do their best to do some damage across the wall. But that's a second Drake and 2 more kills secure for BRU.
BRU this time now can push mid lane. Especially with the Baron, especially with the Soul. They're gonna be unstoppable this time around. Tower falling down in the mid lane. At least this tier 2. They can still extend towards the inhibited tower, but they need to be very careful, of course, with the engage here of Chikan. Looks like it's not gonna be the case. They're really confident they have the Ziggs as well to just bash that tower up, and they continue to push.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that at this point, BRU is already at the Nexus. There is the Call of Forge God. Duan Yu is incredibly low. He has to go into Zhonya's just to not die. He's still not dying somehow. He has 1 HP and makes it back into the fountain for Weibo Gaming to wipe the floor with everybody who tried to end the game. They just got an ace for nothing there.
Yeah, and BRU unable to end this game this time around. Weibo Gaming will be getting so much shutdown goals and will be able to push this mid lane as well. Just maybe come back from this game after a big mishap by BRU.
That was a big mistake that they tried to go for the kills instead of just focusing down on the Nexus, because this game could have been over. But now, Weibo Gaming, can they actually finish this game?
Maybe. I mean, death timers are long.
Possible.
Yeah, 15 seconds.
They're gonna
best. And after
oh my god, they just finished the game off of 1 push!
Suddenly, Weibo Gaming just denied even this game 3 of BRU that should have been the win by BRU.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was preparing myself mentally and physically for like a game 3, but then Weibo, they were about to lose. They were about to go to game 3. They aced